You're listening to the 904wed.com wedding planning podcast. We are talking real weddings, and we are following a very real bride. Joining me today, if this is your first time watching, it's your first chance to meet her, and it's Amber Flowers right there in the bottom of your screen. If you've been following us all along, then you know all about her, and you know all about Ann LaFiles of Premier Bride of Northeast Florida, the #1 source when it comes to wedding information. She's got a magazine, she's got a wedding expo coming up, and today we just found out mandatory masks everywhere in Jacksonville indoors, including your expo, Ann. Well, yes, put it on proudly. What does this mean for you and the expo?
Well, I mean, we were going to be preparing to do face masks anyway, just because we want to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody feels comfortable, because safety is our utmost priority. So what this means is that everybody has to have a face mask when they come to the expo. That includes attendees and that includes vendors. So we have a couple different face mask options. By now, everybody probably has their own, but they will be for sale at the expo. Before you get in the doors, you can purchase them from the tailor shop. And if you are a bride-to-be and you want something customized, you can get these face masks customized. You're going to call the tailor shop, go on to our Facebook or Instagram page. I have the contact information. He needs 1 week to make them customized. So you're going to have to get him the information soon, but you can pick out your colors, you can pick out your sayings. He has a couple pre-made ones there for you, so we've got you covered.
You cannot beat Daniel Matorka. He is a friend of mine at The Tailor Shop on Southside Boulevard. He has been doing these masks since the beginning. He was donating them to hospital workers. He's been making tons of designs. It's awesome to see what he's doing, but Amber, I've got to ask, as a bride for next year, maybe this affects you, maybe it doesn't, but it certainly affects your planning, your parties that you're going to have along the way. What's going through your head when it comes to these masks?
Well, now that it is mandatory and we're having an engagement party in a few days, we sent out a letter and everybody bring their mask or we will provide it. And we're also taking temperatures.
And you're not up here in Jacksonville right now, right? You're kind of living.
It is. Yeah, I'm living in Orlando, but having from Jacksonville. Oh, sorry, and it's mandatory here right now in Orlando. So okay. I'm kind of getting into the flow of things and then collecting all the free masks that they're giving out too.
There you go. I've been fielding texts and calls from friends of mine around the country today. Some are kind of making fun of it. Some are like, it's about time, it's here and there. But I guess everyone's kind of getting the message and realizing like this is a fact of life. So I'm curious, are you going to try to have fun with this? Is it everyone bring your own mask? Or are you going to try to provide some masks, have a mask making party? What, you do anything creative there?
A masquerade.
A masquerade.
A masquerade.
Oh,
nice.
Very nice. I love the creativity. But you're planning to have them on at all of your parties. You're not, there's some brides out there who are like, nope, we're not doing it. It's a private event. Don't even want to hear about it.
Now that's a great point because it is a private event. It is not mandatory as far as that. I know the restaurants and stuff like that are making it. But no, we are not. I have a lot of germaphobes in the fam. So they will be wearing the mask. And it is going to be provided. We also have hand sanitizer and stuff like that. So am I going to be wearing one for a little bit? It says bride. Is my fiance going to be wearing one? He has one that says groom, but I don't think he'll wear it.
Maybe some of your family members would have worn masks even if they weren't required or popular. Now it's a new fashion statement for 2020.
It is.
It's going to be interesting to see how that affects wedding. Lacy masks, you name it. And it's a whole new category of vendor for you, right? Vendors that are all about hand sanitizers and cleanliness and you name it. I can only imagine what that means for you at the Bridal Expo and how you're preparing for that.
Well, luckily, all of our decor companies have so many options available for people like me and weddings. So they have extra hand sanitizing stations and sent me a bar that they created that you can serve alcohol from that has a plexiglass window in front of it. And they offered it to me to even use at the expo. So our decor vendors are getting really creative with ways and new products that you can rent for your weddings and your special events. So We are taking a lot of precautions and having a lot of extra like hand sanitizing stations. The Prime Osborne's going to have people cleaning everything. We're going to figure out ways to keep the doors open, all that stuff.
Well, it will be great to see how all of this works out. I love hearing all of the preparation that you're undertaking. But Amber, this show is really about you and following your wedding planning process. You've been keeping a journal. You've been kind enough and daring enough to share that occasionally here with Ann and I as we kind of work through this podcast. What has happened in the last week since we last checked in?
I think we touched on having the pending proposal for the bridesmaid.
What happened there?
Sake bombs. No, I'm kidding. I really wanted to ask her, and I wanted to be a part of it. However, I didn't know how I was going to ask. And to be honest with you, and she's going to listen to this, I know she is, but how many groomsmen? And I was waiting on the final decision with that. And I know that she kind of knew that because when I asked her, she was like, wait, I thought you already decided. And I was like, no. And she's like, so wait a minute. I'm just like kind of sliding through the door here. I'm like, no, I wanted you to be a part of it, but I didn't want Chris to have to like add someone. So we made it work.
Let's talk about that for a minute because I'm fascinated by this for you and for all the other brides out there. And Ann, your 20 plus years of experience are going to really matter for this question.
Wait. Not 20 years. Not 20 years.
Not did I give you too much credit?
Yeah, you gave me too much credit.
Oh, I'm sorry. How many years of experience?
When she was 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Remember, your bride has been in this market for 20 years.
That is what I was thinking. Yes.
I've been doing it for about 10.
Okay. 10 years. That makes more sense to me. All right. So with your 10 years of experience, but I'm sure you've been thinking about this for 20 years. Like what little girl has not been thinking about this? How do you figure out the perfect number of bridesmaids and groomsmen, groomsmaids, bridesmen, all the different combinations nowadays? How do you figure that out? Who gets the final say? Where's the compromise? Because there's always going to be a little bit of unevenness. It's never going to be perfect, right?
I think so. I mean, I think you see more bridesmaids and groomsmen sometimes the younger the couple is. And the older the couple is, sometimes you see a little bit less. When girls are coming right out of college, they might have, sorority sisters and friends from high school, and they have a lot more options. And then the older you get, sometimes your friend list goes a little bit down as people, go on with their lives. But there is no real number that you have to have. Any number is great. It's really what makes you happy on the day of your wedding.
Amber, what do you come in on this opinion?
I have an opinion, but I also have a question. So how do you work that out? Because I have 2 sisters and he has 2 sisters. And I, of course, want to have them I want them a part of the wedding, of course. But I thought like my bridal party or like kind of, I have a lot of friends. So I wasn't going to have a bridal party of 15. There's just no way. I was struggling. I know in the beginning we were talking, I didn't want any bridesmaids. And Ann was like, no, woman, you are going to have some bridesmaids. Because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and I'm connected to a lot of people. And then you have the sisters. And I'm like, oh my gosh, some are bringing up, this is tradition. Is it? No.
Well, I think what you can do, and this is actually what I did in my personal wedding, because I had 10 bridesmaids. I had a lot. And I still had people that I wanted to involve in the wedding. So I had some people read a poem at the wedding, or do a prayer, or do a scripture reading. There are ways that you can integrate them into the ceremony and the event without having them buy the dress and do everything. Now, you can also ask them to be part of hair and makeup. So let them have the experience, but you're just trying to eliminate the number of people standing up, because you don't want everybody standing up and nobody sitting down in the seats watching the wedding.
That's very true. You normally don't think about that. I see it from time to time as a DJ. I'm there doing the ceremony, music kind of off in the side, kind of stealthy. And I'm looking around thinking, God, there's a lot of open seats, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes a 20-person bridal, party down the aisle, 8 people on each side, parents, all of a sudden it's filled in when everyone sits down. So that's a good point. But I think you have to figure out not only a creative way to ask, bridesmaids and other people to be a part of your wedding, but you also have to have a way to deal with the people that are not quite going to be there, but you want them to be a part and you don't want them to feel left out. And I'm curious how you handled that or how you're going to handle that, Amber.
Right. It's really been on my brain because I want to do something special, just like I did for all the bridesmaids, for his sisters and for mine as well. My sisters are going to be walking my father down, and I was thinking his sisters could, his grandpa's like 92 and he's the cutest thing ever. And I'm so happy that he's coming down and he's going to be a part of the wedding. And I really want to make him a part of the wedding. So maybe his sister's walking him down is what I envisioned. But how to make that very, go ahead.
Have the sisters be the flower girls.
Oh, good. They would not like me.
Why? No, I mean, there's so many fun things that people are doing with flower girls now. One of my favorites is having the grandmas as the flower girl.
Oh, I love that idea, though. I do love that idea.
I thought it was absolutely adorable. But if you don't have the grandmas, you could have the sisters. I mean, there are no rules to weddings now.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, there's no rules.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing through this entire process.
People are doing everything. And I think that it's really cool when somebody comes up with a really cool and creative idea to integrate people. And that might be a way that you can do it. You don't necessarily have to call them the flower girls. Maybe you can, have them do something else or not do the flower part. I don't know. Let me think on it. But you could have them as part of it.
Can you have flower maids?
Not necessarily being flower maids. Yeah, just be a flower maid.
Is that it?
Not a flower girl, a flower maid.
I love the creative thinking. This is what makes weddings so great, is they're constantly evolving. When I was in the wedding circuit years ago, it was the first time I was seeing groomsmaids and bridesmen, and I've only seen that more and more. And now you're talking flower maids and who knows what else. I think that that's really clever and certainly a way to do it. What else is on your mind or like giving you anxiety about this, Amber?
I think right now that is probably my main my anxiety, because like I said earlier, they live in Atlanta. So, and then other family members are in Ohio. So we're merging again after the 4th of July for our Florida engagement party. We also have another one a few weeks after that in Ohio. So I think my nerves it's just, I have not met that side of the family. And I just want to make sure this experience, which is really important to the both of us, is just to have how Chris and I are, for them to see our vision and to see our love. And it might not be traditional in what they believe in, but I promise you, when you show up, you'll feel it, you'll see it. And that's so important to me. And I know it's important to Chris. So I think that's where my nerves get kind of anxiety. I want to make sure that they're included that far away as well.
It's only exaggerated by the fact that you haven't actually met some of these family members in person. So,
yes.
So that only makes it just a little bit more difficult. I have to ask, has Chris asked all of his groomsmen at this point? Did he do anything as near creative as you did?
No, Wes, I swear this is the funniest thing. We were just out the other day with, there's a funny story behind this, but we might get into that in just a little bit. Which you happen to know, his best man.
This is a small world. We're talking two different cities, and I know his best man of all people. I love it.
Right, and not knowing, this is such a bizarre story. But anyway, so we're sitting there at a local restaurant here, and he says his name's Drew, and he just happened to say, "So, Chris, you haven't really asked who's going to be in your party. You haven't really asked anyone." And my lovely fiance grabs his drink and cheers them. And he's like, "So you're the best man. Cheers to the best man." Well, all right.
Because he was the first to ask, or they're truly like best friends. Like this, there was no surprise.
Yeah, they're truly best friends. Yeah. So, he already knew.
I got you. So,
but nobody else thus far. No,
oh, wow.
Else.
So what's going to happen there? Does he now have to go and try to find 4 or 5 other guys to kind of match up? Is it just going to be uneven? I've seen that before. What's your feeling on that? And Anne, what do you see out there in the wedding world?
You see everything. I mean, I think it's more traditional to have more girls than guys standing up because, a guy can walk 2 girls down the aisle really easily. I mean, I see that all the time. So
and some wouldn't mind.
It does not,
right.
And they don't mind. No, they don't. And so you can do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal.
Amber, are you at all worried about having a certain match, or you're good with whatever he comes up with? If he wants 1, 3, 5, not 10, but something in that range, right?
No, we have and even I know who his are. He just hasn't really asked them yet. And I have a feeling it might happen in the engagement party because they're coming into town. So I think it might happen.
Does he realize he has some big shoes to fill? If the groomsmen and the bridesmaids start talking, the grooms are going to be like, dude, she asked her bridesmaids way, way better than you asked ours.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if some guys make it very like special. I don't know, but a lot of them don't. They like throw a football or cheers with a beer and they're like, hey, welcome to the wedding.
Yeah.
I'll send you the deets later.
Yeah, they're sending text messages or doing something like that.
And the women are like, guys, are you crying yet? Cry.
Right. I don't see guys getting as creative with asking their groomsmen. That's not really trending in a lot of the places I follow and stories I've heard. I feel like guys are a lot more simpler and girls, put a little bit more thought into it. Not to discount the guys at all because they can do it, but you just don't see it as much.
We'll leave it at that. I agree with you guys. The guys can do what they don't want to do it. I don't think this is not what they're excited about.
Though.
Yeah, right. Who had the
send in your best groomsman video, like how you asked the groom, or that would be good and creative because the women have the creative outlets to me.
Well, if you're listening to this podcast, we want to hear from you. If you've got a groom who is creative, let us know. Maybe we'll even feature you on the show, and we'll talk about that and elevate the ask when it comes to asking groomsmen to be part of your wedding, or even groomsmaids. Those are a thing now. Guys that have best girls and sisters that are important to them and whatever to kind of balance it out. But let's stop right here for a minute and let's talk about guys' jobs in weddings. I hear this all the time. It's one of my favorite things to see at bridal expos. Anne's, of course, right? Is you see the bride walking down and she's talking and the groom is kind of like being strung along, right? Yeah, so that's the reluctant, lazy groom, right? That doesn't want to be there. And then you have the groom that's been tasked with one thing, and you can always tell who he is because he comes along by himself. He doesn't have a bride anywhere near him, and he didn't come alone. And that he's been given a couple jobs, like you pick the photo booth and the DJ, or you pick certain things that are kind of guy-esque. Amber, are you giving Chris any responsibilities here? And what are you seeing guys being tasked with when it comes to responsibilities for a wedding?
Well, I think it's really funny because I work the registration lines at the expo. So you're probably going to be the one that sees me when you come to the expo. And I'm always asking, who the bride is, who the groom is, and having them fill out the registration information. And I am seeing so many guys now. And I am seeing guys grab that clipboard from me because he wants to fill out the information. He wants to write it out. Or the girl, the fiance passes, or the bride passes it to the groom. So I don't want to say that guys aren't important because we really want the guys to come to the expo because there's a lot of stuff for them too, and we make it fun, and we always have a cash bar. So there's a little something in it for everybody, and even the girls
shrimp
too.
And grits.
I mean, everybody likes and shrimp and grits. Yeah, everybody loves the cash bar. They always ask about that. But I see the guys actually becoming more and more involved in the wedding planning process, which I love because it really is a special day for both of them. And that's where I think the wedding is evolving in the sense that it's not just the girl doing all the wedding planning and her mom. It really is a team effort by everybody.
Without a doubt. I think that's only improving over the months and years here. It seems to be headed that way, which is a welcome thing because then it's even better for everyone involved. Amber, what is Chris's involvement going to be? Other than asking some groomsmen, is he being given specific responsibilities as of right now?
Yes. His specific responsibility, first I said, don't be late and please don't drink. That was the morning of don't do that. But his responsibility right now is to find a DJ and to find entertainment.
A subject near and dear to my heart. So let's talk about that. I want to hear what's going through couples' minds because here's the deal. When it comes to DJing, I do it on behalf of another company and I do it because I love it. I don't really get involved in the business and the booking and the quoting aspect of it. I see it here and there, but I do it because it's a passion. It's like playing in a band for me. So that's my story. But I'm always interested in what's going on in the minds of couples when it comes to booking entertainment, because you've got a big decision as brides and grooms when it comes to this. You got band versus DJ. That's a whole discussion right there. You've got ceremonies to deal with. Do you need music? Are you going to have a live performer, et cetera? What are you doing for cocktail hour? I mean, there's a lot to consider. What's going on in your mind right now? And Chris's too, if one of his responsibilities is helping book the entertainment, the DJ.
Well, that is because the band, we favor DJ and there's nothing, it's kind of just make it what you want it. We prefer having a DJ. Bands are great. But we like to kind of go up sometimes and request songs. I know our friends do. Jam bands are great too, but it's the wedding. We are having a live performer, but she's from Nashville. And she's not from Nashville. She's from Jacksonville, and she lives in Nashville. And she's gonna do stuff for our wedding. We'll get into what she's gonna do.
Interesting. I like where that's a tease. That's coming up. We're not going to be talking about that today. We're not going to have time for that. I know that. You know
what? Also, I could invite you guys in if you'd be interested for a rehearsal that she's going to get maybe a clip of one of the songs that she's going to sing.
Yes, that is why we're here. That's why I'm here. Yeah. I don't know about Ann. I want to see and feel this. So
we could probably guess her voice too.
Oh, I like it.
I know the family, so I think I know where this is going.
That's not fair, you two. That is not fair. You guys have some inside information, but that sounds kind of exciting and different. She's going to be performing live during your ceremony. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, she's going to perform 2 songs during the beginning of our reception.
Oh, wow. That's special. This is like a private concert almost at this point.
Yes.
I'm digging it.
There's going to be 2 spotlights. That's all I'm giving away.
All right. We'll leave it at that. We're not, there's got to be secrets and surprises for a wedding, no matter what. But what's going to be your criteria when it comes to picking a DJ? How are you going to do it? Or how is Chris going to do it?
You know what? That's a great question, Wes. I will say, he asked me the other day in this funny circle of conversations that his best man, Drew, mentioned a DJ named Wes. And I was like, oh, where is he from? He's like, Jacksonville. And I was like, well, tell Drew to send me the information. So
there's a lot of Wes's out there. There's a lot of Wes's.
This is so ironic. I don't know if you have April 24th available, but if you do, my fiance is the one that you came highly recommended. And this is, wow. I swear to you guys, this is a real fact. I had no idea the Wes that I was talking to right now was the same Wes that Drew, whom is not living in Jacksonville, that, lives in Orlando, crazy full circle. Yes.
You're sending like weird warm chills through my body. This is like two degrees of separation. This is kind of wild here. Wow. So Drew is a friend of mine. He moved away. He was a friend of a group of us, and he got married up in Savannah to Sam. Beautiful bride.
Which is my bridesmaid.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We actually joked around about me DJing his wedding, but he already had a DJ up there. He was in Savannah. It made perfect sense. And I'm not the kind of guy that's like, I got to DJ every wedding, but I'm honored that you're even asking. And I am definitely going to be checking out that date for you for sure. And doing whatever I can to clear it, because what a cool experience to be part of. This is like no DJ's ever done everything like this and then gotten to do a wedding. So that's pretty awesome. And I'm pretty honored to be in this chair right now. And that was completely surprised to hear that. Wow. So
and I'll grab Chris in here for one of the and have him formally ask you.
Of course. Yeah. I want something creative, Chris. Come on.
And he had a lot of, right? That's good. Can we get him to sing karaoke and like try? Because he's really terrible, but so good at karaoke. He needs to ask you. It's like we'll do the roulette of like shuffle roulette on your, what is it called? Your music.
Playlist.
Shuffle roulette. And then, the playlist. Thank you. And then whatever it stops on, he has to sing. And if you like it, then it's a go.
All right. I might be the first DJ to ever be asked live on a podcast to be a part of a wedding. So I will take that honor and run with it all day long. But I've got to ask before we wrap up, what was going through your mind before this? Like, were you just going to take a referred DJ? Is that how much faith you put in Chris and in his best man, Drew? Have you done other research into this? Obviously, it's no secret. You've been around the wedding world. You're a hair and makeup artist. Your family's in catering. You have seen DJs, bands, good and bad, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've seen both where there was a DJ inside and a band outside. And so what was I like pushing on with Chris? Is that what you're saying with as for entertainment?
Yeah, what was sort of your guidance, or what did you tell him that you wanted personally to see?
No wires. I did not want
We like that.
Because I have a great playlist. We're very music. So what we do not want played, I said, make sure you just, and he picked out a DJ and scared me so bad. No, not even from Florida. So we'll just put it out there. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm telling you, this is not a good idea. So to answer your question, I don't like a lot of wires, and we just love to dance, and we just don't like the corny music. And I think that I have been to weddings, like you said, and I've worked with DJs, and I've specifically said, do not play these songs, because I've been friends with a lot of brides, and they'd play it. And I was, it's like, oh my gosh, stop playing the Macarena. I'm grinding my teeth, like eyeballing him, like, stop it. So
I am so slipping you $100 to play the Macarena.
Stop.
I won't do it. I don't take tips at weddings. Unless the bride's left. If it was a really good request, maybe.
No, you would, Anne would do that.
She would.
I would do that, yeah.
She would actually get her husband, Mark, to do that, because Mark would do that in a hot minute. I know it.
Yeah, he would.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, we have plenty more to talk about. We will definitely be talking about DJ's entertainment and walking everyone through that process. But we're out of time on this one episode. We will be coming back with a part 2, talking more about Amber and her wedding plans, and the Premier Bride Expo, which is mask on, people. Mask on is what we're talking about now. So stay tuned. More of the 904wed.com Real Talk Wedding podcast with Anne and Amber coming up next.